The last 2 years have seen the world struggle with the effects of the global pandemic COVID-19, an issue that forced many Ugandans to sit at home while others ended up being jobless. To mitigate the harsh effects of the pandemic, COVID-19 funds were released by government to cater for the vulnerable people.
Have you received the money?
I have received, madam.
Oh, congratulations.
Most of the funds that were distributed to the vulnerable people were collected by government through loans, grants, cash donations, among others. However, various accountability reports have poked holes into the program.
In May 2020, the Ministry of Health bought some items, including megaphones, dry cells, and records show that these items were indeed purchased and delivered to different districts in June of 2020. However, some districts, including Gomba, Butambala, Oyam, Omoro, Apache, and Agago, which were visited in September, had not received these items by that time.
According to study findings conducted by Uganda Debt Network in 2021, some transactions related to COVID-19 funds were not adequately accounted for. Now the members of the civil society are showing concern given that recorded domestic arrears stemming from the pandemic are now constraining the taxpayers.
I remember domestic arrears is one of the things that really hurt the taxpayers, because when there is an increment in domestic arrears, it is another burden. It's like a debt on the government. So when government has to pay this debt, automatically they will have to either run to borrow again to pay this debt, or they will run to the taxpayers' money.
As a result, Uganda Debt Network officials are now calling for stringent laws to govern the public expenditure.
We can be able to prevent, detect, and correct irregularities. If that law can capture some of these things, then we'll be happy. But mainly we are looking at procurements because from experience, that is where most of the funds were lost.
They are also calling for action and a cash ceiling to close loopholes that may be used to swindle public funds.
People are marketeers. They'll come give you a proposal. There's that one who had tricked even the president and the speaker, and yes, the COVID something, and you know.
Responding to the allegations, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, revealed that COVID-19 funds were not misused and that the laws are already in place to hold anyone accused accountable.
The laws which are there are sufficient, like the law on procurement and disposal of public assets, the Public Finance Management Act of 2015, and the other laws to do with the managing finances. They are adequate in my view. What we need is strong enforcement, but not necessarily to draft new laws.
According to the Auditor General's report, government's interventions towards the management of COVID-19 pandemic was shillings 4.36 trillion, and report points out that Uganda shillings 10.57 billion in 5 entities was diverted and spent on items other than those for which the funds were disbursed, and that also 1.317 billion out of the 284 billion was disbursed to 17 entities but remained unaccounted for at the time of audit. Ramson Muhire, CTV PM Edition.